Okay, what's up, guys? I was trying to upload this last night, and it wasn't working. YouTube kept cutting it off, and I was getting interrupted, and then I eventually ran out of time to do it. But this is going to be my Wrestlefest III review, uh, my fourth attempt at it, and basically I attended the show last Saturday. It's my second ever indie event. It's South Carolina Wrestling. Check them out on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description box. They just today put up the recap, so check it out. You might see me in it. Got on a blue shirt, orange football helmets on the shirt. Okay, but I just wanted to give you guys a review of the show, match by match. I'm not going to go into any details. I'm just going to tell you whether the match was good, how the crowd reacted, whether I thought it was good. Okay. Now let me pull up the results here. Okay. Match 1, we had Anderson Strong defeat Antonio Smith and Marcus Mason in a triple threat House of Pain match. A House of Pain match is basically they take weapons and tape them to the ring ropes, and I think they said that you cannot leave the ring at any time during the match. So they had everything from nightsticks, kendo sticks, to trash can lids, to baking pans, to chairs, anything, baseball bats, anything really was taped to the ropes. Every shot you heard, I mean, you heard it like that, well, louder than that, way louder. But there wasn't one shot that you couldn't hear. The crowd cringed every time they saw a guy get hit, whether it was a good guy, whether it was a bad guy. They cringed all the same. They'd all go, ooh, or oh, something like that. Most of the crowd was into this match. Of course, it was early in the show, and the show had a late start. It took a little while for it to start. So the crowd was kind of into it / out of it. But if this match didn't get them into it, then the next match certainly did. Match number 2, Sons of Insanity defeating Fit and Fluffy in a loser eats dog food match. Now going into this, I didn't really expect for the losing team to eat dog food. I really never do when it's stipulations like that, but that's besides the point. Sons of Insanity got the crowd behind them 110%. Fit and Fluffy had so much heat coming at them. Others were just shouting all kinds of stuff towards them. Basically, Fit and Fluffy is basically what it sounds like. One guy's skinny and one guy's fat, or fluffy. And all they did was the crowd kept yelling all kinds of stuff at them. Anyway, the crowd was way into this match. Way more than I expected it to be. This was didn't have that much wrestling in it, but it was a very, very, very entertaining match. At the end of the match, Fit and Fluffy, of course, lost, like I said. They jumped in their car after being chased by the rest of the roster and drove away. And the next match got even more people into it if you weren't into it already before, which almost everybody was. El Dorito defeating Brian White to become the new SCW Live Champion. But in an immediate rematch, Brian White defeats El Dorito to win back the SCW Live Championship. The rematch, of course, was just a quick roll-up, and that was it. But half the crowd, well, not really half the crowd, I would say probably 85% of the crowd, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, was with El Dorito. El Dorito is just like it sounds. He's a lucha libre who comes out with a bag of Doritos and a hand puppet called Paco. His finisher, I believe it's his finisher, is he puts Paco and he lets Paco kind of like the Cobra thing. But anyway, the crowd who didn't like El Dorito was chanting "Kill Paco." The crowd was into this match also. They were really into this match. Everything El Dorito said they laughed at, which is the point. He's a comedy wrestler or whatever you want to call it. but this was a great match. Okay, one of the best matches of the night, match number 4, the Power Trip defeating Reverend Revis and Aaron McClure in a 3 Stages of Hell match to retain the SCW Tag Team Championships. First stage, let me get this out of the way. First stage was a chairs match. Second stage was a match of 1,000 thumbtacks. Third stage was I Quit match. The first match had a lot of wrestling in it. It just took a little while to get the chairs involved, which the crowd eventually started wondering, wait, if this is a chair match, why is there no chairs? And then some of the people who were just filing in, we had some who'd see it from the road, and they were coming filing in, and they weren't sure if it was a hardcore match or whatever. When they pulled out the chairs, some were shouting they're cheating, people who didn't know. But either way, this was a great match. Power Trip wins the chairs match, going to the second round. Reverend Revis and Aaron McClure defeat the Power Trip by throwing Sean Van into the thumbtacks. And then at the end of the I Quit match, the thumbtack match, I didn't enjoy it as much as the other 2 falls, but it was still good. The I Quit match ended with Sean Van and Aaron McClure on the outside, and Sean Van put Aaron McClure in some type of submission, I don't know the name. And Joshua Chilton had Reverend Revis into some submission, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember which submission it was, I don't know why. But anyway, Reverend Revis passed out, which ended the match. The Power Trip wins the titles. Then the Power Trip hands the titles to Reverend Revis and Aaron McClure, which was great. Whoever came up with that was a great call. The crowd loved it. They realized what it meant that Reverend Revis and Aaron McClure did earn the tag titles, which is what you gotta do. And then we had match number 5, another good match. I don't think there was a bad match on this card. Robert Mack with Jasmine Rose defeating Sean Storm to become the new SCW Internet Champion. And this match was great. I was really dang it. Sorry. Anyway, I was really into their rivalry. I love the Sean Storm and Robert Mack rivalry. It was probably one of the best rivalries this year. Anyway, Sean Storm is his buddy TJ Boss got involved into the match a little bit more than I would liked. I mean, interference is good, but interference can also be bad, and this is one of the things where I thought it was bad. There was a little bit too much interference for me, but I did like the fact that TJ Boss was getting the crowd a lot of heat from the crowd. And since he was getting a lot of heat from the crowd, it really did get the crowd way more into it than they were. Many people were behind Robert Mack, but some were behind Sean Storm to start the match. Probably by the end of the match, everyone was behind Robert Mack, except for maybe a couple people who were behind Sean Storm. Once again, that was a great match. If there had to be a bad match on the card, just by the crowd reaction, it'd be this match. Rocky Sayaki versus Rage Davidson. And Rocky Sayaki did come up with the win. Rage Davidson really got no heat, and nobody really, I think they just kind of didn't want to, I don't know, they didn't want to catch on with Rage Davidson. They were all like immediately went to Rocky Sayaki. Rocky Sayaki just did the people's elbow, everything the Rocks did, and I think that was the main reason most people jumped behind him. But not a bad match, not really a good match either, but okay, that's not going to hurt the rest of the card. Because up next, we had the best match of the night, the main event. James Hall defeating Eric Thompson, Brian Thrill, and TJ Boss in a King of the Mountain match for the XWA Heavyweight Championship. Anyway, if you don't know about the storyline. XWA had came in and they had taken over SCW. Well, James Hall and Brian Thrill were part of the SCW team. XWA had Eric Thompson and TJ Boss. Okay, so James Hall was fighting to keep SCW as well as Brian Thrill, and Eric Thompson and TJ Boss were fighting to keep XWA in control. Anyway, James Hall gets the win. SCW takes back control, but that's just not even half of it. This match had amazing moves in it, crazy spots, stuff that had the crowd wondering whether the wrestlers could continue, whether they'll have another match ever. And one of these instances came when Eric Thompson went for a rolling powerbomb or a flip powerbomb off the top of the ladder on James Hall. The ladder was set up like this, as you all know. That's how ladders set up. And when you got halfway through the move, it closed like this. Well, James Hall toppled down on top of Eric Thompson's head. Basically, Eric Thompson was out of the match for the rest of the time. He got a pretty bad injury, I guess, or I don't know the exact injury, but I think he's okay. James Hall, another thing came with Eric Thompson. He just did not have a lucky match. TJ Boss, it was TJ Boss, stacked Eric up on a ladder. And basically like a table would be, and he jumped straight off onto Eric. That was another thing where the crowd was wondering if Eric can continue. But that was earlier on in the match. And we had some amazing dives and stuff in the match also. We had James Hall doing a suicide dive. He's a big man too. TJ Boss doing a front flip on from the top rope. I think he did it multiple times in the match, maybe 2 or 3 times. He did a swanton, and he did a flip onto the outside. I think it might have been the only 2 times. He might have did it one more time. But he's also another big guy. Then we had Brian Thrill's amazing. It looked awesome. I was actually looking at a couple of people's mouths actually dropped open. He springboard cross body to the outside, and he just got amazing hang time. It looked perfectly. I hope they caught that on camera right. I haven't watched the recap. It's up now, but that was an amazing move. But you all know the rules of the King of the Mountain. You have to hang up the belt and everything. James Hall ended up hanging up the belt and getting the win for SCW to end the show. Great show, SCW. Great show, XWA. Wrestlefest III was awesome. I'm glad I attended live. Great show. I hope to come to another show soon. See you guys later.